Tony.
And I'm Alex,
And
and we're
we're
Inside Information.
Today we'll be discussing Whiplash, made in 2014. Tell me about Alex.
So Whiplash, as you said, was made in 2014. It was released on October 10th, if I remember that correctly. It had a budget of 3.3 million, and it actually made 49 million, which is a lot more considering its budget and how much it made based on all of that. It was
Yeah,
one of
that's
the
a lot of
first,
profit.
yeah, it was one of the first films also directed by Damien Chazelle, who went on to also direct La La Land, Babylon, which it recently came out,
Yeah.
and First Man too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
It was released originally in the 2014 Sundance Festival on January 16th of that same year.
Yeah,
And since then, it became recognized, and then it started the whole
and won a
development.
lot of Academy Awards.
And won a lot
That's
of
true.
Academy Awards for Best Film Editing and Best Sound Mixing, if I remember that correctly. Yeah, the film actually took 19 days to record, only 19,
That's
which
it.
I think is kind of impressive considering how long films nowadays take to record.
Yeah, like Marvel films, they take a while to,
Yeah,
to
and
record.
during the filming, both J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller were actually injured. And
Oh, really?
it was also produced by Jason Blum, who went on to make
Blumhouse
too.
Studios, right?
Yeah, Blumhouse Studios,
Yeah,
which
true.
is actually now a renowned horror film studio.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. And J.K. Simmons, that's J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man.
Yeah, it
He has a lot of voice acting roles. He's a really good actor in my opinion. I really liked him in this movie and along with other of his projects. And Miles Teller, he was in Top Gun Maverick.
yeah,
So
Miles Teller, I've
and
remembered
Project
him
X.
since he was younger.
Yeah, so he had a fair share amount of movies
Yeah, he
throughout
has.
his career. And to get into the film, what did you think about Andrew Neiman?
Andrew Neiman. So, I mean, we don't really get that much of an introduction to Andrew Neiman since the beginning. We sort of just jumps into him drumming.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
him performing his little practice there. I don't remember. Was it 1/16th or
116? I don't know, but it was
I
like
don't
really
remember.
fast.
Yeah, but he was
in the
going
intro.
fast, and then he also introduced at that exact same time J.K. Simmons' character, which was Fletcher.
That's right. Oh
Yeah.
man, his character is, in my
He's
opinion,
very
really,
intense.
really good because he's manipulative as
He's
well
really
as
well acted, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course, J.K. Simmons is a good
Yeah,
actor.
he's amazing.
And he works at the Schaefer Conservatory, which is a I don't know if that actually exists.
It
but
doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist, but in the
No.
film, it's a renowned jazz. What's the word?
University?
Jazz university.
Jazz University,
Yeah.
so they could develop new artists and everything.
Yes.
So when he was practicing, J.K. Simmons Fletcher walks in and he tries to see how he's doing. And since Andrew Neiman is not exactly popular drummer there,
Yeah, because he just started. It's
he
like his
just
first
started,
year.
so he's in one of the lesser bands.
And
but
he's the youngest too.
he's one of the youngest too. Yeah, so he's in one of the lesser bands, but everyone in that school recognizes Fletcher as the best director that there is. And so when he walks in, obviously Andrew's surprised and he wants to impress him. And then while he's playing, Fletcher just disappears. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's because it's kind of like in a way that like Fletcher leaves him, like it makes Miles Teller's character Andrew wanting more, in the sense like, wow, he came up to me, he gave me a good advice, and then he left, so I'm going to chase after him, you know.
Yeah,
It's
it
I
was
think
it
that's
was a
what
very
his
inspirational thing for him,
character
and I mean it really developed even more
Yeah.
throughout the entirety of the film. Like I mean, as we can see, he slowly became obsessed with that too, the whole drumming, and it became his whole life.
That's right.
So he went every day also to the movie theaters with his dad, and there was this I don't know what it is.
Woman,
There's this woman, yeah, working at the store.
the film's love interest at
Yeah,
least for a
Nicole.
while.
For like, she really didn't appear that much. She
No, not
was only
really.
there for like 15 minutes on screen, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's not that bad. But
It's
like,
not that bad, but it's not a lot for a love interest.
and
in
her
my opinion.
and his father is a really cool character as well.
Oh, I don't remember the actor's name actually.
No, I know, but he looks very familiar. I've seen him in other projects.
Yeah, I've seen him. He's in
I
Stranger
forgot.
Things, if I remember.
Yes,
that
that's right.
correctly.
He's
one-
the
he's
doctor, or the scientist. That's right. That's why it looks so familiar. And I find that interesting because, like, I thought what the film was gonna do is he'd have a mom but not a dad, and Fletcher would kind of be like a father figure, like a bad one.
yeah,
Like
that-
I kind of that's kind of what I thought
It
before
sort of
going into it.
seems somewhat implied there.
Yeah.
So I understand.
But he doesn't have his mom, but he has his dad. So that's kind of interesting how it's kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
In a way. And when he goes into the studio, he meets his peers and the ensemble.
Oh yeah, before that, he was in his ensemble. He was
Yeah,
not the core drummer, but he was actually the secondary drummer. So
Yeah, he
like
was
a
the
backup.
alternative.
Yeah. And so then Fletcher comes in and recruits him for his ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
And so there he meets everyone, and immediately he gets a taste of what it's really like.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like Fletcher is nice to him at first, but well, Fletcher told him to come in at 6 in the morning, and the ensemble started at 9, so he was just there sitting for 3 hours,
Well, that's very
which that's
mean.
kind of rough.
Yeah.
Because he also had to wake up early, and he thought he was late, but in reality he wasn't, since
Yeah.
it was only 3 hours later.
Yeah.
And so immediately he gets a taste of what Fletcher's really like
Mm-hmm.
when one of the trombone players, I think,
Trombone. One of the brass players.
one of the brass players starts playing out of tune,
Yeah,
just
that's right.
slightly out of tune,
Mm-hmm.
which to the regular audience you can't really hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hear that at all, but apparently Fletcher did,
Yeah.
and so he immediately insults him.
Oh yeah,
and
very
kicks
badly.
him out.
And kicks him out. Yeah,
Yeah.
also that's such a harsh scene,
That was
and
very
it
hard.
goes to show his very unorthodox disciplinary actions towards handling situations.
Yeah, I agree. That was very unorthodox. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it's very professional of how he
Yeah.
reacts with every single one of those.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I understand, because he
Yeah.
also, his whole point of why he teaches like that was because of, I don't remember, but
Yeah,
it
there
was
there
a
was a
certain
reason.
artist who had
Charlie Parker.
Charlie Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah, who had a symbol thrown to his head by another
That's how he
famous
became the
artist,
bird. That's right.
and he became great because of that.
Yeah,
It
and
sort
he
of
also gives a
inspired.
really good point in the film, which I kind of agree with. But it's just that his methods are so insane that it doesn't make sense, but not really. Like he wants Andrew to be the greatest, and so then he pushes him to his limit by telling him by insulting him all
By
the time,
insulting him
not
and
telling him he's good.
verbally abusing him,
And so
everything.
that makes Neiman like really obsessed with drumming. That's all
Yeah.
he's living for.
So,
Yeah,
Originally, there's a core drummer in the ensemble,
Yeah,
Tanner,
Tanner.
but he misplaces it, and then he can't play without his music. So there's a whole deal with that, and
Yeah.
eventually, Neiman does become the core drummer. But then they bring in the core drummer from his previous ensemble, who I don't remember what his name was. I think it was Connolly. Connolly.
Conley, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so they compete, and they give Connolly the core drummer position, which he really fought for, and he argued with his family.
Oh yeah, he sacrifices a lot to be in the
He
band,
sac-
and he plays this really cool piece. It's Whiplash. It's the name
Whiplash,
of the
yeah.
film, but the piece is really good as well.
I really like the song too. I mean, I really didn't know before,
Yeah.
but I mean, based off Whiplash, I guess it makes sense why they named it that, since it was such an important piece.
Yeah.
And so later on in the film, he breaks up with his girlfriend. He
Yeah,
sort of
because of his obsession with drumming.
yeah, and he really pursues this. He practices for hours upon hours till his fingers bleed, and then he regains the position of core drummer.
Yeah.
And on their way to it, they get a different piece, Caravan. Yeah.
Caravan, that's right.
And on their way to the actual show, yeah, to the actual show, he forgets his bus breaks down, so he
He has to run.
runs, and he leaves his drumming sticks accidentally in a car rental. So when he gets there, he realizes he doesn't have his drumming sticks, and he gets into a heated argument with Fletcher,
Yeah.
in which he demands that that's his position and
That-
he earns
that's
it.
his part. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Fletcher gives him a chance, and
And he has to run all that, go to the car and everything.
when he picks up his drumming sticks, he sort of drives back, and then he's on
Really
the phone
fast.
and crashes into it.
No, a bus crashes into him. Yeah, and like I'm surprised he didn't get murdered or paralyzed. He literally walks it off. No, he jogs it off.
jogs it off because he was running over there to the show to make it on time. So he's all covered in blood, and he tries to play, but obviously he can't keep up since his
His head is injured.
so his everything's
Yeah, it's
injured.
everything.
He
Yeah,
was-
hit by a truck.
Yeah, and he had glass in him probably,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it was really painful, I'd imagine. And did he still played it off just to play? Played it off just. To
And he
play.
kind
That's
of
great.
did it. He kind of was doing
He
it for a
was
while.
able to do it,
and then
but since he was
he
so injured, he wasn't able to, complete it. Yeah, and so Fletcher
Yeah.
kicked him out of the band, since he
Yeah.
said that was the last straw.
Yeah,
I
last
think
round.
that's
And
what he
Neiman
said.
attacked Fletcher,
Fletcher.
which is very interesting. I didn't see that coming.
You didn't? I kind of
Like,
expected
no,
it
like,
at some
I-
point for
like-
someone to attack Fletcher.
Yeah, of course, but like I didn't think he'd get so mad to the point where he'd attack him. I thought he'd just like give up there.
Mm.
But no, he really attacked him. But then he was taken away by the other. Was it security or
It
the
was
other?
Connolly
ensemble?
and the security too.
That's right. And so that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But then he kind of goes back to normal after that for a little while.
Yeah, they after that he meets with a lawyer who his father forces him to meet
Mm-hmm.
with the lawyer, honestly. And something we didn't mention before, but it's actually a big part in the film, was Sean Casey, who's
Sean
an
Casey.
ex-student of Fletcher's, who went on to become great. And what Fletcher said was that he died in a car crash, but in reality, the lawyers explained that he actually killed himself. And so,
Yeah, that's right. The lawyers explained to him that, and so then
and
that made Andrew anonymously
tip,
snitch
like
on
that's
Fletcher.
anonymous testimony
Yeah,
for a case against Fletcher and his verbal abuse so that he loses his position, which he eventually did.
yeah, he did.
And so it fast forwards a few months later into Andrew's life where he's just staying at home. He quit drumming. And so he goes to a bar and he sees Fletcher playing the piano there.
Hmm.
So they sort of meet and they have a few drinks.
Hmm.
And there Fletcher explains his methods and why he thinks he did what he did. And he apologizes to Andrew. But he invites him later to play at his new ensemble,
Yeah,
the JVC.
yeah. And by telling him that he's gonna play Whiplash and Caravan, all the pieces he already had memorized,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't be an issue for him. And he said it in a nice way. That's something about him that's very interesting. Like he's a very manipulative. He's really good at what he does in terms of like playing with people's emotions. That's what I
Yeah.
really like about his character as well. And so then of course Andrew thought about it and he agreed to do it. And then he went to the location a few days or weeks later.
No, like a week or two later. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah. And so then he was there, and then everyone pulled out this different piece. I
No,
forgot what
but
it's
the
called.
thing was that he was really nice before. So I was
Yeah, exactly.
So he went there and he saw Whiplash, I think, on his screen, but then everybody flipped since Fletcher introduced a different song.
Yeah.
But they didn't give Andrew that music. So he was just left there playing random notes, trying to catch up with the whole ensemble. But really, he couldn't do anything since Fletcher switched the music.
Yeah, and then after the performance, people weekly clapped at the
Yeah.
performance
And
because of
he
his bad
walked
drumming,
off.
and he was embarrassed.
He sort of gave up for a second, and
Yeah.
his dad was there to console him. But suddenly, he gets inspiration and he runs back in there.
Hmm.
And after that,
He plays one of the best solos I've ever heard in drumming. Of
definitely
all
one
time.
of the best solos. It was really amazing, honestly.
Yeah, and he plays the Whiplash piece while he's talking to the audience, so that like really that was like payback in a way, and like
And
he carried the
impressed
ensemble.
Fletcher too. I mean,
Yeah.
Fletcher was also shocked by it, and so I thought it was
And
great.
he even
how-
approved of it.
Yeah, he even
during it.
approved of it. His cymbal, yeah. His cymbal fell during the performance while Andrew was drumming, and Fletcher actually went and picked it up. He was also helping him, transition into a different song.
Yeah, and he's also conducting him as well.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. That was kind of an interesting twist. I thought Fletcher would be really mad, but I guess I don't know if he just played along with it or he was just impressed by
I think
it.
he was really impressed. I mean, you could see the shock in Simmons' face when he
Yeah.
was playing that. So I think Fletcher was really impressed.
And then Fletcher, and then that's how the movie ends.
Yeah.
They finish and the credits and jazz music plays.
Yeah, but what did you think about that ending, though?
That ending was very, in my opinion, a little bit abrupt, but I think that's what
Mm.
the movie had going for it. Cause like I don't know what else they do after the performance. Like I don't know what else. They
Yeah,
coulda
I
shown.
understand what you're saying about it being abrupt, but I really loved how it ended. Like how it showed how everything sort of paid off, but not completely.
Yeah.
But he still redeemed himself in the eyes of the audience and Fletcher himself too.
Yeah.
And he did become great, despite Fletcher's constant abuse and everything. So I thought it was a great ending.
And Miles Teller was a standout actor along with J.K. Simmons. The starring roles, they both did equally a great job.
Actually, Miles Teller did all the drumming himself, which I
Yeah.
find very impressive.
Yeah, being an actor and a musician, that's like
And
unheard
drumming that well
yeah,
also is very
Yeah,
impressive.
he drums like as good as like Keith Moon and like all those other like drummers, and so that's interesting. But what would you rate the film?
I love this film, honestly. I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
really liked it
amazing.
too.
And so I'd give it a solid 9.5 out of 10.
I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
I really love this
Yeah,
film.
I really liked
It
it
was
too.
amazing.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining us on this week's Inside Information episode. We'll see you next week with